John Carter looked out the viewport as the diplomatic vessel approached Concordia Station. The massive structure floated in space like a glittering wheel, home to the Galactic Council where over 200 alien species governed interstellar affairs. Lights from countless windows dotted its surface, and ships of various designs moved around it like busy insects. Quite a sight, isn't it? Lisa Novak said, stepping up beside him. Her dark hair was tied back in a neat bun, and though she wore a diplomatic uniform like his, John knew her background in special forces made her more than just his deputy. "Hard to believe we're the first humans to serve here officially," John replied. He straightened his uniform jacket, feeling the weight of responsibility. Earth had only joined galactic society 30 years ago, and many species still viewed humans with suspicion. Concordia Station. "This is Earth Vessel Harmony requesting docking clearance," the pilot announced over the comm system. A melodic alien voice responded immediately. "Earth Vessel Harmony, you are cleared for approach to Diplomatic Dock 7. Welcome to Concordia." John took a deep breath. His appointment as Earth's first ambassador came after humanity's surprising victory in a border conflict with the Vex hegemony. The skirmish had been brief but revealed Earth's military capabilities, which had earned them respect and fear from the galactic community. "Ready for this?" Lisa asked quietly. "As ready as anyone can be to represent 8 billion humans to a bunch of aliens who aren't sure if we're dangerous barbarians or promising newcomers," John said with a slight smile. The ship docked with barely a tremor. John and Lisa gathered with their small staff of 4, a cultural specialist, a xenobiologist, a legal advisor, and a communications expert. Together, they walked through the airlock into Concordia. 3 aliens waited for them. The central figure stood on 4 tentacle-like limbs, its blue skin glistening under the lights. To its left stood a tall, slender being with pale green skin and 4 arms. On the right was an entity that resembled a large insect with compound eyes and shimmering wings. "Ambassador Carter," the blue alien spoke through a translator device. "I am Coordinator Ilara of the Merlani. On behalf of the Galactic Council, I welcome you and your staff to Concordia." John stepped forward and bowed slightly. "Thank you, Coordinator. We are honored to represent Earth in the Galactic Council." The insectoid being made a clicking sound before speaking. "I am Counselor Trith of the Arborians. Your species has caused quite a stir in a short time. We hope to show that humans can be valuable contributors to galactic peace," John replied diplomatically. The 4-armed alien did not introduce itself but studied the humans with unblinking eyes. John noticed the red symbol on its chest, the mark of the Vex hegemony. The silence stretched uncomfortably before Ilara spoke again. "We have arranged a formal reception for tomorrow. Today, you will be shown to your quarters to rest and adjust to station time." As they followed their hosts through the grand corridors of Concordia, John noticed other aliens stopping to stare at the humans. Some looked curious, others seemed wary, and a few showed clear hostility. Lisa leaned close to him. "I count at least 12 species watching us right now. Not all of them look happy to see us." "We knew this wouldn't be easy," John whispered back. "Earth's victory against the Vex changed how we're perceived. Some see us as a threat now." Their quarters were spacious but clearly designed for non-human occupants. The furniture had been hastily modified to accommodate human physiology. After their guides left, Lisa checked the rooms thoroughly. "Basic surveillance devices in every room," she said quietly. "Nothing unexpected." John nodded. "And so it begins. Our first challenge isn't just to represent Earth. It's to convince 200 alien species that humans aren't the dangerous newcomers they fear we might be." Outside their window, the endless stars stretched into the distance, beautiful and cold. Somewhere out there was Earth, counting on them to secure humanity's place among the stars. 2 weeks had passed since John Carter's arrival at Concordia Station. He sat at a large round table in Chamber 12, surrounded by representatives from 17 different species. The air felt thick with tension as he finished his proposal. "And so, Earth suggests an open technology exchange program that would benefit all council members, John said, his voice steady despite the cold stares from several aliens across the table. Councillor Trith of the Arboreans clicked his mandibles in what John had learned was a sign of approval. The proposal shows wisdom. Shared knowledge advances all civilizations. Or it allows dangerous technologies to spread unchecked, countered Zrax, the Vex representative. His forearms moved in agitated patterns. Humans have been in space for barely 3 decades. Their rush to join advanced technological discussions is concerning. John kept his expression neutral. Earth doesn't claim technological superiority, Councillor Zrax. We simply offer a fresh perspective and our own innovations in return for learning from others. Several other representatives nodded, particularly the blue-skinned Merlani who had welcomed them on arrival. But John noticed how Zrax leaned over to whisper to the reptilian Drek ambassador, who then looked at John with narrowed yellow eyes. The meeting concluded with the proposal being sent to a review committee, a small victory. As John gathered his notes, Lisa Novak approached him. "That went better than expected," she said quietly. "Some of them are actually listening," John replied. But Zrax is building opposition. They walked together through the curved corridors of the diplomatic wing. Aliens of various forms moved past them, some nodding in acknowledgement, others deliberately avoiding eye contact. The Vex lost face when they failed to defeat Earth, Lisa said. Zrax has been telling anyone who will listen that humans are unstable and violent by nature. John sighed. Ironic coming from a species that attacked our colony without provocation. Back in their quarters, John reviewed messages from Earth while Lisa prepared coffee. The artificial day cycle of Concordia was shifting toward evening, casting long shadows through their viewport. "Strange," Lisa said suddenly, pausing near the communications console. "What is it?" She pointed to a small device hidden behind a decorative panel. "That surveillance device wasn't there this morning. Someone's been in our quarters." John frowned. "Council security does regular checks. They don't replace working devices," Lisa countered. She didn't disable it. That would alert whoever placed it. Instead, she made a note in her secure pad. Later that night, after John had fallen asleep, Lisa slipped out of her room. She wore a simple dark uniform without Earth insignia and carried a small scanner. Moving silently through the dimly lit corridors, she began a careful sweep of their section. Near the maintenance access, she detected a signal. Someone was transmitting data from their quarters. Following the signal, she turned a corner and nearly collided with a tall figure. The Vex diplomat's aide stepped back, clearly startled to find a human there. "You're far from the human section," he said, his translator making his voice sound flat. "I couldn't sleep. Walking helps," Lisa replied casually, hiding her scanner. "The station is beautiful at night." The aide studied her for a moment. "Indeed. But some areas can be unsafe for newcomers who don't understand station protocols." "Thanks for the warning," Lisa said, reading the implied threat clearly. The next morning, as John prepared for a meeting with the Merlani trade representatives, Lisa quietly checked their communications for tampering. "We have a problem," she said finally. "Someone accessed our secure channel to Earth during the night." John looked up sharply. "What did they get?" "Nothing critical. The encryption held, but they're getting bolder." She handed him her pad with a list of incidents, new surveillance devices, followed staff members, and attempted data breaches. John studied the list with growing concern. "They're afraid of us. But why this much effort for a new species with limited influence?" "Because your technology exchange proposal gained more support than they expected," Lisa said. "I've seen the voting projections. If the Arboreans and Merlani vacuum, along with the neutral factions." John nodded slowly. "We could actually win our first major proposal. And some people on this station clearly don't want that to happen," Lisa finished, looking out at the stars beyond the viewport. Somewhere among them, unseen dangers were gathering. Councillor Zrax paced around the secure meeting room. 6 other council members watched him in silence. The room was located in an old section of Concordia Station that didn't appear on public maps. No recording devices were allowed inside. "The human proposal has gained too much support," Zrax said, his forearms moving in angry gestures. "If they succeed, Earth will have direct access to technologies that took our civilizations centuries to develop." Drell, the reptilian Drek representative, flicked his tongue nervously. "Their victory against your forces was concerning. Humans adapt quickly to new situations." "Too quickly," added Moxon of the Surthi Collective. The small, gray-skinned alien rarely spoke in full council meetings, but here among trusted allies, she expressed her fears openly. "Our models predict that with access to advanced council technology, humans could reach military parity with mid-tier council races within 15 years. The 7 conspirators represented different species and factions, but they shared one belief. Humanity was dangerous and needed to be contained before it was too late." "What do you propose?" asked Grath, a massive being with stone-like skin. "We cannot simply reject their proposal without cause. The Arborians and Merlani support them." Zrax's outer eyes narrowed. "Then we must give the Council a reason to reject not just the proposal, but Earth's presence entirely." He projected a holographic image in the center of the room. It showed John Carter meeting with various council representatives over the past weeks. Ambassador Carter is their strength. His diplomatic skills have won unlikely allies. If something were to happen to him, Pilax, a bird-like alien with iridescent feathers, tilted her head. "The humans would send another ambassador. Not if his death created a diplomatic crisis that justified restrictions on human movement," Zrax countered. "Especially if it appeared that radicals from another species were responsible." The room fell silent as the conspirators considered the plan. "The Krith separatists have attacked council facilities before," suggested Drell. "If evidence pointed to them, the council would demand sanctions against both the Krith and humans for bringing violence to Concordia," Moxon finished. "We could implement emergency protocols restricting Earth's access to council space." Zrax displayed another image. Detailed security plans for the upcoming council reception. "The event will be crowded, security stretched thin. The perfect opportunity." The conspirators spent hours finalizing their plan. None noticed the small maintenance drone that had briefly passed by the supposedly secure room earlier, its standard scanning equipment modified to detect fragments of their conversation. Meanwhile, Lisa Novak sat in her private quarters, reviewing data from her security suites. The small drone she had programmed to patrol the diplomatic wing had returned with concerning audio fragments. Though incomplete, the recordings contained enough to raise serious alarms. Ambassador Carter is their strength. If something were to happen to him, create a diplomatic crisis. Emergency protocols restricting Earth. Lisa couldn't identify all the voices, but she recognized Zrax's distinctive vocal pattern. She encrypted the findings and prepared a secure transmission to Earth Command, carefully avoiding the compromised main communication system. She debated whether to tell John about the threat. His diplomatic mission was at a critical stage. The technology exchange proposal would be voted on in just 3 days after the grand reception. Telling him about a possible assassination plot with incomplete evidence might disrupt his focus. Lisa made her decision. She would enhance security measures without alarming John, while requesting quiet support from Earth. She added a special code to her transmission, one that only a few people in Earth Command would recognize, a reference to her previous work in classified operations. The code phrase was simple: Baba Yaga Protocol. After sending the message, Lisa erased all traces of it from the system and went to find John. He was preparing notes for tomorrow's pre-vote meetings, looking tired but optimistic. "How are the security arrangements for the reception?" he asked without looking up. "Standard procedures," Lisa replied calmly, not revealing her concerns. "I've made a few minor adjustments to our personal security." John nodded, still focused on his work. "Good. This reception could be the final push we need to secure votes for the proposal." Lisa looked out at the stars beyond their viewport. "It will certainly be a turning point," she said quietly, checking the small defensive weapon hidden beneath her uniform. "One way or another." The grand reception hall of Concordia Station glittered with lights. Hundreds of representatives from across the galaxy mingled beneath a transparent dome that revealed the star-filled blackness of space. Soft music played from hidden speakers, a careful blend of sounds from many worlds. John Carter moved through the crowd in his formal Earth uniform. He smiled and nodded to various council members, many of whom now acknowledged him with something close to respect. His technology exchange proposal had gained more support than anyone expected. "The vote tomorrow looks promising," said Councillor Trith of the Arboretans, approaching with a glass of blue liquid in his mandible-like grasp. "Your proposal has merit, Ambassador." "Thank you, Councillor. Earth hopes to be a valuable contributor to shared knowledge," John replied. Across the room, Lisa Novak watched carefully. Her dark formal uniform concealed several defensive tools. Her eyes constantly scanned the crowd, noting the positions of various council security forces, and more importantly, where they weren't. "You seem tense, Deputy Novak," said a voice beside her. Coordinator Ilara of the Merlani approached with graceful movements. "Is our security inadequate?" "Not at all," Lisa said smoothly. "Just habit. The ambassador attracts attention." "Indeed he does," Ilara agreed. "More than expected for a newcomer to the council. Not everyone appreciates his success." Before Lisa could respond, the lights flickered briefly. She immediately moved toward John, her instincts screaming danger. Something was wrong. In the control room several levels below, a technician fell silently as a dart struck his neck. A figure in maintenance coveralls quickly accessed the security systems, disabling several surveillance zones and locking mechanisms. Back in the reception hall, 3 servers approached different areas of the room. They appeared to be different species, but all moved with the same purposeful stride. One headed directly toward John Carter, who was now speaking with a group of minor representatives. Lisa reached John just as the lights flickered again. She grabbed his arm, her voice low but urgent. "We need to move. Now." John gave her a questioning look, but years of diplomatic training had taught him to trust his security staff. He nodded and began to excuse himself from the conversation. The server approaching them suddenly dropped his tray. As glasses shattered on the floor, the server's hand emerged with a small weapon. Lisa shoved John aside just as a dart whizzed past. She drew her own concealed stunner in one fluid motion and fired. The false server dropped, but screams now erupted from 2 other locations in the hall. "Attack! Security breach!" someone shouted. Council security forces rushed in various directions as panic spread. Lisa pushed John toward a service exit, staying between him and the chaos. "Stay low," she ordered. A second attacker appeared from behind a decorative column. This one carried a more lethal weapon, a pulse gun illegal in council space. Lisa fired again, but missed as the attacker dove for cover. John stumbled as the attacker's shot grazed his shoulder. Pain flared through his arm. "Lisa," he gasped. She pulled him through the doorway, firing back to cover their retreat. Blood soaked John's uniform as his face paled. The wound wasn't immediately fatal, but he needed medical attention soon. "Security channels are jammed," Lisa said, checking her communicator as they hurried down the service corridor. "We need to reach our quarters. I have medical supplies and secure communications there." John's breathing grew labored. "Not an accident," he managed to say. "No," Lisa agreed grimly. "This was planned. Someone wants you dead and wants to blame it on extremists." They reached a maintenance elevator. Lisa used her security override to activate it, then supported John's weight as he sagged against her. "Earth needs to know," he said, his eyes growing unfocused. "They already do," Lisa told him, checking the wound as the elevator descended. "Help will come. But first, we need to survive until it arrives." On Earth, Fleet Admiral Eric Daniels sat in his secure office, staring at the emergency communication he'd just received from Concordia Station. His face grew grim as he read the code phrase embedded in Lisa's message. "Baba Yaga Protocol," he murmured. He pressed a button on his desk. "Prepare the Nightingale for immediate departure. Priority Alpha. And get me Commander Wright." The aide looked startled. "Sir, Commander Wright is." "I know exactly where she is," Daniels interrupted. "Tell her it's time to wake up. The Baba Yaga is needed." The Concordia Station Emergency Council meeting erupted in chaos. Representatives shouted over each other, while security forces stood at high alert around the chamber. "This violent attack proves what I have said about humans," Zrax declared, his four arms raised for attention. "They bring conflict wherever they go." Ambassador Carter was the victim, not the cause, countered Ilara of the Merlani. The blue-skinned diplomat's voice remained calm despite the tension. Councillor Trith clicked his mandibles in agreement. "The evidence suggests Krith separatists. Why blame humans for being attacked?" Zrax's outer eyes narrowed, perhaps to create sympathy, to distract from their aggressive technology proposal. In the human diplomatic quarters, now under guard by both human staff and council security, Lisa Novak watched the emergency meeting on a screen. John Carter lay in a medical pod, sedated while the automated system repaired his shoulder wound. His face looked pale against the white sheets. Lisa turned as one of her staff entered. "Any word from Earth?" "Yes," the communications officer replied quietly. "A message just arrived through emergency channels. The medical ship Nightingale has been dispatched. Estimated arrival in 26 hours. Lisa nodded. The medical ship was their cover story, but she knew what, or rather who, would really be on board. She turned back to the screen where the council continued to argue. For safety, all humans should be restricted to their quarters until this matter is resolved. Drell of the Drek was saying, his reptilian features set in a false expression of concern. "And the trade proposal vote should be postponed indefinitely," added Moxon of the Surthi. Lisa could see the conspiracy unfolding exactly as planned. With John injured and humans isolated, Earth's growing influence would be cut off. She needed to find proof of the plot before the conspirators could complete their plan. On Earth, a small, sleek ship launched from a hidden facility. The Nightingale bore medical insignia and flew Earth colors, but its hull contained special stealth materials, and its engines were more advanced than anything Earth officially acknowledged having. In the ship's preparation room, Commander Olivia Wright checked her equipment. Her dark hair was cut short, and her face showed no expression as she methodically went through each item. Her body bore subtle signs of enhancement, not obvious cybernetics, but something more integrated, more advanced. "Mission parameters, Admiral," she asked as Daniels entered the room. "Extraction and evidence gathering," he replied. "Ambassador Carter has been attacked." Lisa Novak invoked the Baba Yaga Protocol. "We believe 7 council members conspired to assassinate our ambassador and blame it on Krith separatists." Olivia nodded once. "Alive or dead?" "Alive if possible. We need evidence of their conspiracy to present to the full council. This is about justice, not revenge." "Understood." Her voice held no emotion, but her eyes showed focus. "Any specific targets identified?" Zrax of the Vex hegemony appears to be the ringleader. Novak's intel suggests the Drek, Surthi, and 4 others are involved. Daniels handed her a secure datapad. "Full details here. Memorize and destroy." Back on Concordia, the Council passed emergency measures restricting human movement on the station. 2 guards now stood outside the human diplomatic quarters. Inside, Lisa continued gathering what evidence she could, but most of her surveillance drones had been discovered and destroyed. She sat beside John's medical pod, speaking softly though he remained unconscious. "Help is coming. Just hold on." Her secure pad chimed with an alert. The station's long-range sensors had detected an approaching ship, the Nightingale, arriving 12 hours ahead of schedule thanks to capabilities Earth had kept hidden. Lisa allowed herself a small smile. "They're coming faster than expected," she told John. "The Baba Yaga is on her way." Meanwhile, in a secret meeting room, the 7 conspirators gathered again. "The attack failed," Zrax said angrily. "Carter lives." "But we achieved our primary goal," Drell pointed out. "Humans are contained, their proposal blocked. For now," Moxon cautioned, "we should prepare for Earth's response. They will send investigators." Zrax dismissed her concerns with a wave of his hand. "Let them send whoever they wish. By the time they arrive, we will have controlled the narrative completely." None of them realized that Earth's response was already approaching, and that the hunter they had inadvertently awakened would soon be among them. The Nightingale docked at Concordia Station under heavy guard. Council security forces surrounded the medical ship, weapons ready. After the attack on Ambassador Carter, all Earth vessels were treated with suspicion. A team of 6 humans in medical uniforms exited the ship. Their leader, a gray-haired doctor, faced the security chief, a tall Drek with scales that shimmered under the dock lights. "We are here to treat Ambassador Carter," the doctor stated firmly. The Drek officer inspected their credentials and equipment with obvious distrust. "You may proceed to the human quarters. 2 of my officers will escort you." The medical team moved through the station corridors, their cases of supplies floating on gravity sleds behind them. None of the security officers noticed that the team now numbered 5, not 6. Commander Olivia Wright moved silently through a maintenance shaft she had entered while the guards were distracted by the doctor's credentials. The shaft was barely large enough for her slender frame. Her black stealth suit absorbed light, and special materials masked her heat signature from thermal scanners. Olivia had memorized Concordia's complete layout during the journey from Earth. The maintenance system was a maze of tunnels connecting all parts of the station. Security rarely patrolled these areas, trusting automated systems instead. Systems that, right now, were experiencing unexplained glitches near her position. She reached a junction and paused, checking her wrist display. The first target was Counselor Moxon of the Surthi Collective. The small gray alien was perhaps the weakest link in the conspiracy. According to Lisa Novak's intelligence, Moxon had seemed hesitant during recent emergency council sessions. In the human diplomatic quarters, Lisa received the medical team with relief. John Carter was awake now, but weak, his shoulder wrapped in healing bandages. "Admiral Daniels sends his regards," the gray-haired doctor said quietly to Lisa as the others tended to John. Lisa nodded, "Is everything proceeding as planned?" "Our additional passenger disembarked successfully," the doctor confirmed. "Initial operations have begun." John watched them from his bed. "Lisa, what's happening?" She moved to his side. "Earth sent help, John. More than just medical help." His eyes widened slightly. "The Baba Yaga protocol. That wasn't just a fever dream." "No," Lisa said. "Commander Wright is on the station." "Wright?" John frowned. "I've never heard of her." "Very few have. That's the point." Meanwhile, Counselor Moxon entered her private quarters after a long council session. The Surthi representative felt uneasy. The attack on the human ambassador hadn't gone as planned, and now the other conspirators were pushing for even harsher measures against Earth, measures that might lead to conflict. She froze as her door closed behind her. Something was wrong. The room was exactly as she had left it, but an instinct older than her civilization warned of danger. "Hello, Counselor," said a quiet voice from the shadows. Moxon turned slowly. A human female sat in a corner chair, unarmed and relaxed. Impossible. Humans were restricted to their quarters. "How did you?" "Security systems can be fooled," Olivia said simply. "We need to talk about the plot against Ambassador Carter." Moxon backed toward her alarm panel. "I don't know what you mean." 7 conspirators. Olivia continued as if Moxon hadn't spoken. "You, Zrax, Drell, and 4 others. You planned the assassination and are now using the failed attempt to isolate Earth from the Council." Moxon's hand froze before reaching the alarm. How could you possibly know that? I know many things, including the fact that you had doubts. You wanted to contain Earth's influence, not start a war. The Surthy counselor's large eyes blinked rapidly, a sign of stress in her species. The others pushed for more aggressive action. I just wanted to slow human advancement. Olivia leaned forward slightly. You have a choice now, counselor. Help me expose this conspiracy, or face Earth's justice alone. Across the station, security officers discovered the first accident. A guard outside Counselor Drull's quarters was found unconscious, with no memory of what had happened. Inside, they found the Drek representative's quarters empty, though he had entered 10 minutes earlier. Meanwhile, all screens throughout the diplomatic wing briefly flickered, displaying a strange symbol before returning to normal. The symbol was simple but unsettling, a stylized house with chicken legs. Only Lisa Novak recognized it and smiled. The Baba Yaga was hunting. Panic spread through Concordia Station. In just 24 hours, 3 council members had disappeared, only to be found locked in maintenance closets with no memory of how they got there. Security systems failed in seemingly random patterns, and most disturbing of all, private messages between the conspirators had somehow been leaked to various council representatives. Zrax paced in his quarters, all 4 arms twitching nervously. 2 of his personal guards stood by the door, weapons ready. The Vex representative had tripled his security, yet still felt exposed. No one enters without my direct approval, he ordered the guards. No one. His communication console chimed. Zrax approached it cautiously and activated the screen. Counselor Drull's reptilian face appeared, his scales pale with stress. They know everything, Drull hissed. Someone is hunting us one by one. Calm yourself, Zrax replied, though he felt anything but calm. Our allies in security are searching the station. They will find this human intruder. Human. Drull's tongue flicked out nervously. How do you know it's human? Before Zrax could answer, the lights in his quarters flickered. The communication screen went black, then displayed a single image, the now familiar symbol of a house with chicken legs. Zrax backed away from the console. Guards, he shouted. No response came. He rushed to the door and found his guards unconscious on the floor, a faint smell of strange chemicals in the air. Looking for someone, a quiet voice asked from behind him. In the main council chamber, an emergency session had been called. Representatives from all member species gathered, their voices a mix of confusion and accusation. Station security had proven unable to explain the strange events, and rumors spread wildly. Order, called the council elder, an ancient Arborian whose brittle exoskeleton showed great age. We must maintain order. The chamber quieted as the massive doors swung open. Lisa Novak entered, supporting John Carter, who walked slowly, his arm in a healing sling. The human ambassador looked pale but determined. Ambassador Carter, the elder acknowledged. We did not expect you to attend in your condition. Some matters are too important to miss, John replied, his voice steady despite his weakness. Lisa helped him to the human delegation's seat, then took position behind him, her eyes constantly scanning the room. We have called this session to address the security failures on Concordia, the elder began. Security failures, John interrupted. Is that what we're calling an assassination attempt and its aftermath? Murmurs spread through the chamber. Several representatives looked uncomfortable. Perhaps security incident would be more diplomatic, suggested a representative from a minor species. John shook his head. I believe in calling things by their true names, and I believe this body deserves to know the truth about what happened. What truth? Challenged a Vex delegate, standing in for the missing Zrax. We all know Krith separatists attacked you. Do we? John asked. He nodded to Lisa, who activated the small device. All screens in the chamber suddenly changed to display a single feed. The image showed Zrax, seated in what appeared to be a storage room. He looked frightened, all 4 arms bound behind him. Play the confession. Lisa instructed her device. On screen, Zrax began to speak. I, Counselor Zrax of the Vex Hegemony, confess to orchestrating the attack on Ambassador Carter with 6 other council members. We feared Earth's growing influence and planned to use the assassination to justify restrictions on human activities in council space. Gasps and shouts filled the chamber as Zrax named his co-conspirators. The evidence was damning. Recorded planning sessions, financial transfers to the assassins, and communications proving the entire plot. As the recording ended, the chamber doors opened again. A human woman in a simple black uniform entered, her face expressionless. Behind her walked Counselor Moxon of the Surthy, looking nervous but resolved. "Who are you?" demanded the elder. "My name is Commander Olivia Wright," she replied calmly. "Earth's response to those who attacked our ambassador." The room fell silent. The legend of Baba Yaga had spread through the station, and now she stood before them, neither threatening nor apologetic. Simply present, like justice itself. 3 weeks later, John Carter stood at the center of the council chamber. His shoulder had healed, and he wore a fresh diplomatic uniform with Earth's emblem displayed proudly. The chamber was packed with representatives from every council species, the move solemn but expectant. "Ambassador Carter," the council elder spoke, "you have the floor." John looked around the chamber, meeting the eyes of various representatives. The 7 conspirators' seats remained empty. They were being held in council custody awaiting trial for conspiracy and attempted murder. "Thank you, Elder," John began. 3 weeks ago, members of this council tried to kill me. They feared Earth's growing influence and what our technology exchange proposal might mean for the balance of power. Murmurs rippled through the chamber, but no one interrupted. They believed humans were dangerous, too aggressive, too quick to advance. John paused. In their response to this fear, they proved something important about themselves, not about humanity. The chamber grew still. When faced with a perceived threat, these 7 chose conspiracy, deception, and murder. Given the same situation, Earth chose justice, precision, and truth. John's voice remained calm, but carried to every corner of the room. "We did not respond with warships. We did not demand vengeance." Several representatives nodded in agreement. The Merlani and Arborians, Earth's strongest allies, looked pleased. "Instead, we sent one person, one highly skilled individual who gathered evidence and exposed the truth without a single death. Not even those who tried to kill me." John smiled slightly. "Some might say that shows remarkable restraint for such a dangerous species." Lisa Novak stood at the back of the chamber, watching the proceedings with satisfaction. Beside her was Commander Olivia Wright, now dressed in a formal Earth uniform for the occasion. Her mission complete, she would return to Earth today. "Earth still believes in the proposal that so frightened the conspirators," John continued. "We still wish to exchange technologies and knowledge with the council races. But now, we also ask for a complete review of council security and voting procedures to prevent such conspiracies in the future." The elder clicked his mandibles in the Arborian gesture of approval. "The council has already begun this process. Ambassador, your commander writes, methods revealed concerning weaknesses in our systems." Olivia's expression remained neutral, though Lisa smirked slightly beside her. "And what of Earth's proposal?" John asked. "The technology exchange that started all this." The elder gestured to the voting display. "The council has reconsidered your proposal with the new evidence in mind. The vote stands at 173 in favor, 30 against, with 12 abstentions. Your proposal passes with overwhelming support." Applause spread through the chamber. John bowed his head in acknowledgement. Later, in the diplomatic dock, John and Lisa stood with Olivia as she prepared to board her ship back to Earth. "I owe you my life," John said simply. Olivia shook her head. "You owe me nothing. I followed orders." "Will you return to wherever you were before this?" John asked carefully. "Yes," Olivia replied, "until needed again." Lisa extended her hand to her former colleague. The Baba Yaga returns to her forest. A rare smile flickered across Olivia's face. The bougie man goes back under the bed. They watched as she boarded the small, unmarked ship. Unlike the medical vessel that had brought her, this craft bore no Earth insignia or identifiers. It would take a roundabout path home, ensuring no one could track its route. As the ship detached from the dock, Lisa's secure pad chimed with an encrypted message from Admiral Daniels. Baba Yaga returning to hibernation. Mission complete. John looked out at the stars beyond the station. Do you think they understand now what it means to provoke Earth? Lisa watched the small ship disappear into the darkness of space. They understand that we're not the mindless aggressors they feared, but they've also learned something more important. What's that? That humanity doesn't need overwhelming force to be feared. She smiled. Sometimes, all we need is one person in the right place at the right time. John nodded, turning back toward Concordia Station, where the Council awaited Earth's new technological contributions and the wisdom to know when to unleash them.